Most people walk into an airport expecting to pay for comfort, pay for a better seat, pay for faster service, pay for help with bags. And if you're over 60, that assumption can cost you more than money. It can cost you energy, confidence, and a smoother trip. But here is what many older travelers are rarely told. Some airport and airline services may be available at no extra charge when you have a real need. Ask politely and know where to ask. Some are designed for mobility support. Some depend on airport programs. Some depend on airline policy. In this video, we are walking through 10 free airport services seniors often miss. Not gimmicks, real forms of help that can make a long travel day less exhausting. And in many cases, the difference between a miserable airport day and a manageable one is not money. It is knowing the exact moment to ask. Let us start with the service that can save your knees, your back, and your strength before you even reach the gate. 10. Free electric cart or wheelchair assistance. If long terminals wear you down, this may be the most valuable free service on the list. Many seniors assume airport carts and wheelchair help are only for severe disability. In real life, if walking long distances is hard on your body, ask for mobility assistance. This does not mean you are weak. It means you are using the system wisely. Check-in, security, gate changes, and baggage claim can drain your strength before the flight even begins. For someone traveling with arthritis, a replaced knee, balance issues, or simple fatigue, that support can protect the rest of the trip. The smartest move is to request it before travel day. Look for special assistance when booking or call the airline and ask for help from check-in to the gate. If you forget, still ask at the counter. Same-day help is not guaranteed everywhere, but it is often available. And here is the part many people do not realize. When assistance is properly arranged, the trip often becomes calmer from the first minute. Less walking, less rushing, less pain, less fear of getting left behind in a huge terminal. For many seniors, that changes everything. 9. TSA cares and checkpoint support. Security is where many travel days begin to feel confusing. Shoes bins, medication, devices, rushed instructions, and people pressing from behind. For an older traveler, that can be more stressful than the flight itself. That is why one of the best hidden tools is checkpoint support through TSA Cares. When travelers call ahead, they can explain medical devices, medication concerns, or mobility issues before they arrive. Think about how much calmer travel feels when someone already knows what you are carrying and what you may need. Instead of explaining everything in a rushed line, you begin with context. For older travelers, fewer surprises often means fewer mistakes, fewer delays, and a much more dignified screening experience. The key here is timing. Do not wait until the night before. Reach out early, especially if you use assistive devices, carry sensitive medication, or worry about screening because of an implant, CPAP equipment, or mobility limitations. Even if you're not sure you need special help, it is often worth asking. Many problems at the checkpoint do not come from rules. They come from surprise. And this service helps take surprise out of the equation. 8. Free companion gate passes. A lot of people still believe only ticketed passengers can go beyond security. That is not always true. In some situations, airlines can issue a free escort or gate pass so a family member or friend can accompany you to the gate. For a senior traveler, that can be a tremendous source of calm. If memory issues, hearing issues, or simple travel anxiety make the terminal feel harder than it used to, having a trusted person beside you can remove a huge emotional weight. It also helps with practical things: reading the gate screen, hearing announcements, managing carry-ons, and staying oriented when plans change. The important thing is to ask at the airline counter, not a kiosk. The companion should bring valid identification, and the request should be framed clearly. You're not asking for a favor just because it would be nice. You are asking because extra support is genuinely helpful for the trip. Not every airport handles these requests in exactly the same way, and approval can vary by circumstances. Still, this is one of those services many people never even try to use. They assume the answer is no, so they never hear the yes. And even when a traditional escort pass is not available. Some airports now run their own visitor programs that allow approved, non-ticketed guests into the terminal. That is why it is always worth checking the airport website before travel day. 7. Early boarding when you need more time. Standing in a crowded boarding line may not sound like a major problem, but for many seniors, it is where discomfort begins. Knees stiffen, balance gets worse, overhead bin space starts disappearing. Here is the good news. Early boarding is not only for first class and not only for wheelchair users. Many airlines allow pre-boarding for passengers who need extra time to settle in. The wording matters. Keep it calm and simple. You are not demanding a reward. You are explaining a need. Agents respond better when they can see that you are asking to make the process smoother, not trying to jump the line for no reason. Why does this matter so much? Because boarding sets the tone for the whole flight. When you board early, you have time to reach your row without pressure. You can put your bag away more safely. You can sit, breathe, and organize yourself before the aisle fills up. Instead of starting the trip feeling rushed, you begin in control. For an older traveler, that difference is not small. It can shape the entire journey. 6. Delay help. Meals, hotels, and rebooking support. Flight delays are miserable for everyone, but they can hit older travelers harder. A long wait in a noisy terminal is tiring, and an overnight disruption can become expensive fast. There is not one universal rule that guarantees the exact same compensation from every airline. But many airlines do publish commitments for controllable delays and cancellations, such as meal vouchers, hotel accommodations, ground transportation, or rebooking help. The mistake most travelers make is waiting silently at the gate. The better move is to go to the customer service desk and ask directly what the airline is providing for this specific delay. Older travelers especially should not wait until pain, fatigue, or confusion builds. The earlier you ask, the more options staff usually have. This matters even more for seniors because a 6-hour delay is not just boring. It can affect medication timing, meals, sleep, pain levels, and stamina. If you need help, say so. Calmly explain the situation and ask what assistance is available under the airline's customer service policy. And keep your receipts if you spend money because the disruption was the airline's fault. You may not recover every cost in every case, but informed travelers almost always do better than silent ones. When delays happen, knowledge becomes part of your carry-on. 5. Free transport for medical equipment. This is one of the clearest protections on the list, and seniors still get challenged about it all the time. Medically necessary equipment is not the same as ordinary baggage. Older travelers often carry exactly the items that make airport staff pause: a CPAP, an insulin cooler, a walker, or another health-related device. So say it up front. Tell the airline agent you're traveling with medically necessary equipment, keep documentation with you, and avoid checking essential devices if you can. That one sentence can stop a stressful argument before it starts. This can save money, yes, but more than that, it prevents the worst kind of airport stress. The kind that starts when someone at the gate says you have too many bags and you suddenly have to explain your health needs under pressure. A little preparation protects both your wallet and your peace of mind. 4. The quiet seat change window. Sometimes the best seat on the plane is not the one you pay for. It is the one you notice at the right moment. Most travelers think seat maps are fixed once check-in opens. They are not. Cancellations, misconnections, and upgrades can free up better seats in the last hours before departure. Why does this matter for seniors? Because a better seat can mean more than comfort. It can mean easier bathroom access, less climbing over strangers, less pain in the knees, less strain on the back, more room to stand up and move without feeling trapped. So instead of looking at your seat once and giving up, look again closer to departure. Check the app, refresh the seat map, and if you're already at the gate, ask whether any more workable seats have opened up. A better seat may not sound like a free service, but for many seniors it functions like one because it reduces discomfort without requiring extra spending. Do not treat this as a luxury request. Treat it as practical travel management. A bad seat can make a long flight feel endless. A better seat can protect your energy for the day after you land. And many seniors never discover how often that better seat appears shortly before boarding. 3. Free in-flight medical support. Most people assume that if a medical problem happens in the air, they're on their own until landing. That is not how the system works. This does not replace planning before the trip, but it does mean something important. If you feel truly unwell on board, do not sit there in silence hoping it passes. Flight attendants are trained to respond, but they can only help with what they know. Tell the crew early. Chest discomfort, breathing trouble, dizziness, palpitations, a medication reaction, confusion. These are not things to hide out of embarrassment. The sooner the crew knows, the sooner they can evaluate the situation, monitor you, and connect with ground medical support if needed. This matters especially for seniors because symptoms can escalate faster when the body is already under stress from altitude, dehydration, fatigue, or delayed meals. So before a long flight, know where your medication is. Keep essential doses accessible. And if you have a significant condition, let the crew know discreetly after boarding. That is not being dramatic. That is being smart. In-flight support is there for real situations, and older travelers should never feel ashamed of using it when something is wrong. 2. Airport Visitor Pass Programs. This is newer, and it catches a lot of people by surprise. At some airports, non-ticketed family members can apply in advance for visitor access to the secure side of the terminal. In practical terms, it means a spouse, adult child, or trusted friend may be able to go through security with you, sit with you at the gate, and help you settle down before boarding. For seniors flying after an illness, after a loss, or after years away from airports, that kind of support can feel priceless. But this is not universal. These programs vary by airport, and they usually require online registration, identification, and advance approval. That is why this is not something to discover at the curb 5 minutes before check-in. It is something to look into when you start planning the trip. The deeper value here is emotional, not just logistical. Airports can feel fast, loud, and cold. One familiar person changes that immediately. Travel becomes less about surviving the terminal and more about easing into the day. If you are helping an older parent travel, this is one of the first things worth checking. 1. Lounge access during major delays. Let us end with a service that may feel the most luxurious, even though sometimes it comes down to one simple question. When a flight is delayed for hours, many seniors sit in the open terminal because they assume that is their only option. But in some situations, especially during long delays or irregular operations, complimentary lounge access may be possible. Is it guaranteed? No, that matters. This is not a universal right, but it is real enough that informed travelers ask about it, especially when age, discomfort, or medical needs make an extended delay harder to tolerate. The better place to ask is the airline's customer service desk. Calmly explain the delay and the impact it is having on you, and ask whether any lounge options or courtesy passes are available. If the answer is no, ask whether your credit card includes lounge benefits during delays. Many travelers already have a backup option and never realize it. And even if the airline does not provide lounge access, you may still have options through a credit card benefit you have never used. Many people carry those benefits for years without realizing it. The lesson here is simple. During a serious delay, comfort is not always sold. Sometimes it is offered quietly to the travelers who know to ask. So those are 10 airport and airline services that many seniors miss, not because they do not exist, but because most people never get told where flexibility lives. Some of these services are formal. Some are situational. Some depend on the airport. Some depend on the airline. But all of them point to the same truth. Travel after 60 is easier when you stop assuming the first answer is the only answer. That is why it helps to keep your expectations realistic and your questions specific. Ask, prepare, confirm. Keep documents handy. Use the counter instead of the kiosk when you need a real person. The best senior travelers are not the strongest travelers or the luckiest travelers. They're the ones who know what support exists, and are willing to use it. And once you start traveling that way, the airport stops feeling like something to survive. It starts feeling manageable again.